Evening, everybody. Hi, my name is Charlie Keenan. I'm the superintendent of Maple Heights City Schools. I just wanted to take a minute to welcome you to our State of the City, State of the Schools address this evening. Mayor Blackwell and I will be talking to you this evening. This is actually the 6th year we've done the State of the Schools and State of the City together. It's a pretty unique combination. Not a lot of communities have that, but just a working relationship between the city and the schools. I've been here a long time, and I feel like we're a very fortunate community to have just a strong connection between the city and the schools. It makes a big difference. So goes the city, so goes the schools, and vice versa. So we're lucky to have that relationship, and I thank the mayor for always inviting us to work together to do this as a combined effort. So I'm going to start tonight and talk a little bit on the schools first, and then when I'm done, Mayor Blackwell will come and she'll give you some information about the city. So first thing I want to say is my dad was a superintendent, and he just passed away last week. And yeah, so it's hard for me, but he always taught me don't brag on yourself and be very humble. And that's hard whenever there's really good things going on. And I'm going to take a quick minute and just brag on myself for a second and tell you I'm celebrating my 20th anniversary here in Maple Heights this year. But I'm telling you that not because really I want to brag on me. I want to tell you that when we talk about state of the schools, a lot of my colleagues will get up here and they're going to talk to you about the state report card. Look what we did. Here's these things we did. Here's what we did. Here's what we counted to the state. And I don't believe that. I think the state of the schools is more about what we do for you in this community. And it speaks volumes when you have people that are committed to your community for a long period of time. And so me being here for 20 years is a testimony not to me, but really to the way the people in Maple Heights have treated me. It made me want to stay here and be part of this community. And I'm thankful for that. And this 20 years, it's been an amazing time that I've been here every year, and I love it, and I'm proud of that. But it's not just me. If you look at our Board of Education, Rosalind Moore, who was our past board president, and now she's on the board, she's been here serving in this district for over a decade. She sent her kids to Maple Heights City Schools. We have our board president, Mr. Alonzo Blackwell. He didn't work in the schools, but he sent his children here and his grandchildren into the schools, and now he's serving as a board member in this community. We have Sharia Granger and Wendell Garth, who both attended school in Maple Heights City Schools, graduated from Maple Heights City Schools, live in the community, and give back to the community. And we have Richard Ritchie, who's serving on the board right now. He served as an administrator in this district for over 25 years. He retired, and then he came back as a resident, and now he's serving on the board. That type of leadership and commitment speaks volumes about what people think about Maple Heights. I'm also going to talk about our union president, Dan Cavalli, and our non-teaching union president, Ms. Andrea Beeman. Both of them have been in this district longer than me. So when you have people that are dedicated to a community and they give 100% in their leadership, it's not just about the state report card, but it's really about the people in the community and the way that we all work together. So I'm proud of that leadership, and I'm proud of the work that we do in Maple Heights. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of our accomplishments, the things that we do. But I also would be remiss if I didn't mention our administrative team. A lot of them are here this evening. I'd like them to please stand for a second. Our administrative team, please stand. These folks do countless hours behind the scenes. People think about it, it's what they do in the building during the school day, but they're here all summer to helping us set direction. They provide leadership within the schools. They talk to parents in the weekends and the evenings, and those are the things that make a difference. Those connections and those relationships that our folks put together, those are huge. And then I also want to make sure I credit, before I go to my slides, our entire staff. We have teachers here that are amazing. They give 110% of our kids. They love them. They care about them. It's not just about teaching students and providing them a curriculum. It's about caring about kids like they're your own. Kids go through struggles. It's giving them support and helping them be successful. And we have a dedicated staff that does that. And I'm so proud of our staff, both our teaching and our non-teaching staff, for all that they do. So I wanted to at least make those acknowledgments before I get started my presentation this evening. Okay, so for our State of the Schools presentation, I'm going to go over four things. The first thing is what we're calling hopes and dreams, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute, but basically, we talked about with our board about how do we really account to our community. And we talked about that state report, and I'll talk to you about that in a little bit, but more importantly, if we want our community to feel good about what we're doing in the schools, how do we show them that we're doing what they want us to do? So last spring, we sat down and we had 8 meetings in the community. We had meetings at the schools, we had meetings at the library, we had online information. We asked our families, what do you want? What are your hopes and dreams for our kids? And we used that information to kind of guide what our direction is going to be for this upcoming year. And so that was a huge project for us, and it really validates the fact that our board wants us to listen to our community and serve our parents and serve our community. The next thing are the 3 goals that our board had put in place last year prior to doing this, and these are the goals that we have that are things I'm going to talk to you about. One is DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'll give you a little more detail about that in a minute. Our academics, which obviously what we're here for, is provide academics for our students. And then the communications and family engagement aspect of how we're making sure that we push information out to our families, but also receive and acknowledge the things that our community and our families want. Okay. So Gia, where's Gia? Can you stand for a second, please? Gia is our communications director. She put our slide together. She threw this one up here so you guys, because this is what I believe in. This one would just all the words if it was just me. So you can thank Gia for all the nice pictures and all the fancy way it looks. But you know, this is basically saying that we believe that we're more than just a state report card. It's those relationships. It's the thing that we do. It's how do we help kids. That's what's most important. So. Starting with that hopes and dreams, I told you kind of what we did with that, and we got that feedback from our families. There were a lot of things that they told us, and things that shouldn't surprise us. We want our kids to be happy. We want them to be successful. We want them to feel safe in school. We want to make sure they're respected. We want to make sure they're respectable to other adults. There were a lot of good feedback, and so we had tons of surveys, we had tons of feedback, and we kind of put it all together into one form, and we kind of came up with things that were tied in. And what we did was we took that feedback and we tied it into the district goals that the board had put to us. And it wasn't a shock to hear that the things that our board, who are community members and also parents and family members, the things that they want for their kids align very well with what our community and what our parents are telling us they want. So there were a ton of things in this past year, because we're just starting in this process, we're doing it as a district. So these are the 3 areas of things that, again, we're going to work on this year. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, our academics, and our communications and family engagement. What we've asked each building to do is, you talk to your parents, and once a month we have parent advisory groups that are going to meet with our principals, and they're going to talk to them about what they want to see in their specific schools. So no longer are we going to say, here's what the district wants, here's what the board wants, here's what the superintendent in the central office wants. It's going to be, what do our parents and families tell the school they want? Then they're going to tell us what they need, and then we are going to work to provide support. So we're going to go from a bottom-up approach rather than a top-down, and I thank our board for being, just courageous enough to do that. A lot of times when you're in a role like a board, like our Board of Education, they feel that the way that they have to be accountable for coming up with what that is, and it's a tough thing for them to give that up and give up that control, but they did, and we're giving it, and they put it in the hands of the parents to tell us what they want, and our job to provide support. So that's kind of what this Hopes and Dreams effort is all about. And I'm going to talk to you now about these 3 different areas. Okay, so that's related to the last one. And this is our strategic plan. You can see academics, diversity, equity, inclusion, communications. The other area that we talked about is finance. And this is something that our board had talked about when we hired our new treasurer last year, Mr. Taylor Friedrich. Mr. Friedrich, can you stand up, please? So Mr. Friedrich is our new district treasurer. He's done an outstanding job of not only one, making sure that we're transparent about where our money is and what we do with it, but he's done a really good job of making sure that we're fiscally solvent. And this is the first year in as long a time as I can remember that our 5-year forecast is on the plus side at the end of 5 years. We've never had that in the 20 years that I've been here, so thank you, Mr. Friedrich, our board, for their fiscal responsibility to make sure that we've got to that point. So that's a good thing for our district. The other 3 areas we're going to talk about now. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is basically saying that, we need to acknowledge and respect that we have diversity in our student population, in our staff population, and we need to acknowledge it and respect one another. We need to preach that and set up things so that it's acknowledged and recognized across the district. Equity is just making sure that everybody gets what they need. There's a difference between equity and equality. Equality means everybody gets the same. Equity means everybody gets what they need. So someone gave me an example one time about people looking over a fence, And equity would be, we all put everybody, everybody just stands where they are, and some people can see over the fence, some people can't. Equity would be where, I would stand up and I could see over the fence, and maybe someone shorter than me might get a box next to them, and that's what they get for equity, so they can see over the fence. It's giving everybody what they need so they can be successful. And that's what equity is. And inclusion is just making sure that we include everybody as we can in everything that we can do. And it's just being respectful of people. This is important in our district, and it's important in our community, and so we focused on these things. I've listed 4 things up here that we've worked on this past year, and I feel pretty good about the results of them. One thing is social emotional learning. The wellness team worked closely with our elementary campus to adopt a social emotional learning curriculum, be part of the daily classroom schedule so that our kids are ingrained in this every single day. We have a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee. That committee meets on a regular basis, all of last year and meeting again this year, to make sure that we have good PD, good training, and we hear the things that people want to say. This committee is made up of teachers, non-teaching staff, administrators, board members, community members, and they give us feedback, and we listen to what they want, and then we put those things in place for our diversity, equity, and inclusion committee. PBIS is positive behavior intervention and support, and we made a lot of gains in that area as well. You see the PRIDE acronym: prepared, respectful, invested, determined, and engaged. That's something that we have put all over the district. We have now banners all over so that people can see it on a regular basis and understand it. And wellness is just making sure that we have support for our staff, and also student wellness. We put people in place to ensure that happens. Another area that I asked Dr. Shelby, who's our Director of Special School Services, to give me some feedback on some things we've done on the inclusivity of things. And here's a couple examples of things we've done with some of our special ed population. We had students participating in Special Olympics Unified Sports. That was both special education students and regular ed students who were working together to provide these supports for our students. And then we had students with special needs participating in therapeutic horseback riding through some additional funding that we got through a grant. And that was a 7-week program, and our kids loved it. And you can see some pictures up here. So our Maple Heights City Schools Personnel Department, again, focusing on diversity, equity, and inclusion. We received a grant. It's called a TSL grant, and it's a teacher and learning grant, and it's $400,000. And things we've done is we've been able to recruit and retain minority candidates. We've had leadership development put in with this money, and we retained staff within 22, 23 years, and those were teachers who stayed with us received a bonus. Okay, under academics. There's 3 things I'll talk to you about generally on that. The first one is the high quality curriculum, and I can't read it from over this. I'm going to come back over here and take a look. Okay. We reviewed end of the year data. So we do this every year. When our administrative team gets together, we take a look at our data, and we make adjustments in our community, in our curriculum, wherever we need to based on the gaps we see from our test results and what kids do perform academically. And we also have daily protocols on the subjects to ensure we develop a solid vocabulary and the basic skills starting in kindergarten. We provide PD and coaching for our teachers. The GCCC is another new thing we were invited into this past year. It's the Greater Cleveland Career Consortium. It's basically a way to give our kids in Maple Heights more opportunities to do internships, job experiences, and learning. So we partnered with this group called the Greater Cleveland Career Consortium, and we are working with them to provide a curriculum and experiences for our kids. So it's not just about what they can learn in school academically, but what will they do beyond school? And this is a program that's really going to help us in that area. And then finally, the high quality assessments and data analysis, our response to intervention. And that just means basically if kids are struggling, what are we going to do about it? We can't just say, oh, kids are struggling. We need to put a response in place. We need to do something for those kids. So those interventions, those supports can come in the form of teachers going into the classroom, kids being pulled out, but we hired additional staff to have that happen. And our teachers use ongoing assessments they keep over and over throughout the school year, testing the kids to see where they are, so we give them the right support. So we've done a really good job and put a lot of heavy emphasis on high quality assessments and data analysis. Okay, I am going to talk a little about the state report card because I don't want to pretend like it means nothing. It's obviously something that every community sees, and they wonder where they stand and what do they do compared to last year. A lot of places try to do comparisons like what did we do with our communities. So in our district this past year we have 3.5 stars. It's gone in the past 20 years from ratings from like academic emergency to excellent to A to F grades to now stars. It's basically a 5-tier level for all that time. over that time in the past, since the history of over a quarter century, this is the second highest report card we've ever gotten in the district. So I'm proud of the staff and I'm proud of our students for what they did. But again, I'm going to say this doesn't really tell you the whole story. One test that the kids take doesn't tell you how successful they are. But it's nice to know that on what the state is holding us accountable for, we have performed at our highest level. The other thing I want to share with you is that these, there are 5 different components that add up to the state report card. And we got varying stars from a 5-star in graduation to a 2-star in literacy. I'm going to go over these in a little bit more detail in a minute. But these basically are calculated into getting your 5-star grade. So if you want to kind of figure that out, I can talk to you afterwards about how they do their calculations. Sometimes it's a little more complex than it needs to be. But I'm going to give you some comparative data. So we will look at ourselves in comparison to what we call the first ring districts, which are all the districts around the city of Cleveland. That's one group. The second 2 groups we have are districts that are very similar to us. The first one is any district that is 50% or higher with African American population across the state. There are 24 districts across the state of Ohio in that grouping. The third group is districts that have a poverty level similar to Maple Heights. So any district that has 90% poverty and at the very least 25% African American district in the state. So we are one of the higher poverty districts in the state and at the highest level. And our African American population is in the high 90s. But we still compare to the 25 because across the state of Ohio, there aren't a lot of districts very similar to Maple Heights. So when we do those comparisons, we just take a look at where we are. And what I never do is I don't like or would believe, and I've talked to the board about this, we don't ever want to throw any of our other colleagues under the bus when we do comparisons. This isn't about how good are we or how bad are they. It's just letting you know kind of where we stand in comparison to our comparison groups. And if you look at our overall grade level, us and Columbus White are the only 2 districts in this group that have a 3.5 star in the entire state. And you can see the rankings of everyone else in our comparison group. So we're at the highest level in our overall comparison. This is the progress subcomponent. If you look at the progress subcomponent, I'm going to give credit to Bedford and South Euclid and Richmond Heights up our way and CMSD. They also scored a 4 in progress. Progress is where you continue to show growth with your students over the year. And so we're one of some of the districts that have a 4, and you can see again we're in the top in that category as well. Under literacy, and this is a very frustrating grade that the state puts out. It is very abnormal that all the districts in our categories in almost every area are either 2s and 1s. There's only one district, and that was Cleveland Heights, that got a 3. And this is out of 5 in this early literacy area. I just don't believe that all these districts across the state that are similar to us have kids that can't read or that they're poor readers or staffs that don't help their kids. So these are the numbers that we're at. We strive to do better than a 2, but this is besides Cleveland Heights, we're again the highest in our subgroup. And then the one that I'm really proud about, because this is something that means something to me, is do our kids graduate and what happens with them when they're done. And so our graduation rate is 96.8%. And that's not just the highest in not the highest in all of our subgroups, but it's one of the highest in the state. And if you look at, really, 96 to 100, you've got a real small window of how much we're better than us. But this is the first rank. These are all districts around us. The only 2 districts that have a higher percentage of students graduating are Warrensville Heights and Cuyahoga Heights. Outstanding job by both of them. But keep in mind, both of those districts are very small. It's a lot easier to keep track of and give support to 80 kids in the senior class as it is to 275. And so for us to have 96.7% of our kids graduating, kudos to our counseling staff, our administration, our teaching staff, and our ECAC program, which we put in place a few years ago to make sure that any kids that are struggling get the support they need so they can be successful. So to me, it's just an amazing work by our staff that our kids are graduating at this high of a rate. And we're even focusing more on now, what are they going to do when they graduate? It's not just good enough to graduate. It's do something else beyond graduation. Either work in a job, go to the military, or go to school, but you got to do something beyond school. So those numbers are very impressive. The average in our African American population districts graduation rate was 82%, and we're at 96. So we are far out exceeding the graduation rate of our comparative districts. Okay, then the last one was the Achievement Star. There was no group in our grouping that scored higher than a 2 in the Achievement Star. Again, you know, I'm not showing these numbers to say we're great at them or that we're terrible. I'm saying that we acknowledge that these are our scores that were given to us, and we will work to improve in every single one of these areas. But I'm proud that we've scored as high as we've ever scored, except for one other year in the quarter of a century. So congratulations to our staff and our students. Okay, so here's a couple of our academic highlights. Over the last 3 years, the Data and Assessment Department, in collaboration with our Curriculum Department, in response to interventions teams, have increased support for students in grades K through 3 who need to be in track and read by 3rd grade. What that means is we put more teachers in, we put more supports in, we've done push-in services, we've had parapros that are trained to do in-class supports, and so we really put a high focus on that, and that's why we've seen the results that we've had. The increase in title and learning loss teachers, development of a local assessment battery to identify student gap skills, increased progress monitoring, use of iReady, personalized instruction, and additional research-based interventions. And you see the result is showing an increased number of students moving from off track, kids who weren't doing well, to on track by 22 percentage points. 13.8 kids were off track when we started the school year, 35.9 are on track. So we're moving kids not just at the rate that we're supposed to, we're taking kids who are off track, and 22% of those kids are caught up by the end of the school year. So that's really impressive. And then the last thing, and this is just another one of those things where we talk about intangibles that the kids do that are just amazing things that aren't on our state report card. This is a picture of our kids that are in a teacher academy. These students are Maple Heights students who want to be teachers. They take a class to become Maple Heights teachers. And they won a national award. 10 Heights Teacher Career Academy members won a $500 prize for their school by competing and placing in a nationwide competition in May. Students were charged with choosing a project that addressed a community need and needed to work together to develop a creative solution for that need. Our kids worked on a bracelet for a cause and focused on boosting mental health. In addition to working on this project in the class through 23 school years, the students spent many hours before and after school creating over 1,000 bracelets and cards to win with notes on them. So again, you know, kudos to our kids for getting a national recognition for the work that they do. Okay. Then we talk about scores and we talk about like programs, but then here's where the heart of it really comes in. I'm gonna highlight 2 kids, and I could give you 100 kids, but I'm gonna give you 2 kids that were amazing graduates from last year, just so you know like what happens with our kids. So, and I commissioned both these kids to tell these stories to you. Rihanna Warren is a 2023 graduate of Maple Heights City Schools. She was on my superintendent's advisory committee. She was on that teacher academy. She was actually the state president of the teacher academy program in the state of Ohio. She also was awarded a National Sorority Phi Delta Kappa Scholarship, and you know, for that to happen for a kid of one of our students of that caliber to work like she does to get a national scholarship, and now she's going to an HBCU. She's just an amazing kid, and that's a testament to what Maple Schools are about. She's Maple Schools. The other student I wanted to mention to you, and this is like a different type of kid. This is Jaleel Salim. He went to Maple Heights High School after he went to a program called PEP. And PEP is a program for kids that are having a really difficult time with whatever issues that may be. And, you know, Jaleel struggled early on. When he came back to Maple Heights, not only did he come back, but he worked hard and he became a top 20 student in our school, and now he's going to Kent State University. So for a kid like Jaleel to come back here, put in that time and effort, but not just him by himself, his teachers and his counselors and his administrators pushed him and they gave him support and encouraged him to give him what he did. You won't see much of that, but I mean, it's an amazing story, and I'm so proud of Jaleel for what he did to get where he was, to be a top 20 scholar after coming back from PEP. Okay, and this is our communications and family engagement area. So Gia was hired 2 years ago, and was it 2 years ago? 3 years ago? 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Okay, and we charged her with like, you know, look, we need somebody to figure out what's going on, help us communicate and get things in place. And we also hired another person, Angelique Shy. Is Angelique here? Oh, sorry. Is she here?
Right there.
Okay, Angelique Shy in the back. She's our family and community liaison for the district. And we have Ms. Rosalind Lynn, who was also hired. She's our homeless liaison. Rosalind? Okay. But that team of people has done so much to try to build capacity in our district to give feedback to our parents, but more importantly, receive what they want and give them what they need. So 2 years ago, we surveyed our parents on how they would like district to communicate with them. We upgraded our system. Gia did that, took that on. And with these new tools, they allow us to communicate with our stakeholders in ways they have requested. Because of that, we have over 2,100 people have downloaded the app, which was requested by our families, which, I think that's pretty amazing that our families are actually downloading what they asked us for to use for communication. We send out a district-wide newsletter twice a month, including news highlights from the district and summaries from our board meetings. And we are gathering data from the newsletters we are sending out to the community members, so we make changes and adjustments to the information we send out to ensure that we are meeting the needs of our stakeholders. So again, just important to listen to our stakeholders and give them what they want. The other area is just directly the family and community engagement piece of things, and this is what Angelique puts together. She pulled the big sister vacation, I know she was. So this is bridge the gap between our families and schools through various events and extended resources. We have a community resource room at our school. So I know that our community does an awful lot for our family members, but we started one in our schools, and that resource opened up last year in November, and we provided full meals for over 140 families. The resource room has serviced over 150 families. 95% of those families are repeat customers at least once a month. So again, people are struggling with whatever they may need. It can be anything from clothes to food to feminine products to whatever it may be. But, we do our best to try to provide and support families as best we can. That's not an academic thing, but when you do those things for families, it helps kids be more successful in school. We also had a toy giveaway. 300 toys were given away to students during Winterfest, and we had a community baby shower where we served over 75 families by giving away diapers and baby clothes. So again, kudos to Angelique and her staff for putting all these things together. We also, the Family and Community Engagement Coordinator and the Homeless Liaison Coordinator, hosted a FACE collaborative with ESC. I can't remember exactly what FACE stands for. What is it, Angelique? Yell it out.
Family and Community Engagement, or NREAM, something.
Yeah. Family and Community Engagement is what FACE stands for. I hate putting up acronyms and not being able to tell you what they are. So they visited our Board of Education resource room and learned how it was started. It was the first time in 5 years the group visited our site. Our family engagement received more than 300 dresses for the prom shop and helped the prom provide attire for 35 students. And in partnership with the City of Maple Heights and Ohio State University, Maple Heights City Schools packed 18,420 meals for the Maple Heights community. That was a great project. There's a lot of people that are in this room that, put your hand up if you were part of that, if you don't mind. There were a ton of people in this room that participated there, and for us to work together as a city and schools and community with Ohio State to put together 18,000 meals was a really amazing feat. So thank you all for your support on that. Okay, and then last thing I'm going to talk just a few things that, these are called capital improvements, things you'll see around the district that we're doing to make improvements. Mr. Niamke, is he here? Okay, Mr. Niamke is our business manager. He oversees this, and he does an amazing job making sure that we're up to date on everything that we do and put together. And so this is just a few things. Maple Heights High School Stadium, we replaced the football field, we replaced the track, we put new signage and race receptacles up there. And I know there's a way to do a little video because Gia, how do I do that, Gia?
You know what? I don't see a play button on there, so I don't think it fits.
Bottom right.
Oh, right there.
Listen, there's a drone picture of this thing that looks really neat, but I'm sorry I can't figure that out right now. Maybe Gia can show us later. The administration building, for a lot of times we didn't put a lot of money into that administrative building. We tried to put it all into the kids, but we don't have a heating and air conditioning system there, so we were able to upgrade the heating and air conditioning system at the administrative office, and that's where our ECAC building is also housed. We continue to upgrade our technology to 21st century standards by installing state-of-the-art new line interactive flat panels in every classroom. Is Mr. Curtis here? Okay, so Mr. Curtis is our Director of Technology. he helped organize it so that every one of our now we built new schools in between 2008 and 2013, but the technology was in those classrooms in that 10-year period got a little outdated. So we got all these new flat panels, and they're almost like computer screens as giant TV screens in your room. So it's been a really nice addition to what we do technology-wise in the classroom. And then, okay, here's a couple other things that are coming up. So the board has authorized us, and this takes no taxpayer money because we had money from ESSER, which was over the COVID years, that we were given through federal monies that allowed us to do upgrades to different things. One of those things is a student wellness center. And the student wellness center is going to be in place over by the Wiley Athletic Center. It's going to be a place after school where kids can go to do their homework, get things caught up. And there's going to be obviously some expectations of what kids do when they come over there, so it's not just a hangout place, but it will be a hangout place if the kids are doing the right kind of things. So it's going to be a good addition for our kids to have a place to go for a wellness, for a homework center. That's what the pictures are there. And then this is our wellness center. So we were able to, again, where in the AC area, add a completely new wellness center. So it's the area where the natatorium was that has been unused for almost 15 years. That will now be a wellness center that our kids can use. And a lot of time and effort was put into that. And that will be bid out this year. It will be completed by the start of next school year. And the last thing is, you may have seen some of these new fancy vans driving around the city. We have a new fleet of buses and trucks, and you can see the wraps on those, and they look kind of neat, so I thought I'd just put this on there for you. And that's my presentation this evening. I appreciate you all coming out. I'm not thinking about it.
Gia, since you put this drawing up, you want to come and show that before I start?
Oh.
Since you,
Yeah.
I know you just do that just because, so let's see it, with all this great news. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Bring it up for you. You know what, I'm gonna have to send it in another format so you can continue.
Yeah, it's right there. We'll put it on the district website so everyone can see it.
I will.
So, why don't you tell us where we can find it?
Oh, on the district website, on the main page, I'll have it loaded this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe, can you key me up? Joe is our Planning and Development Director. Why Joe Duffy's coming, he's our Director of Planning and Development. I'd like at this time to introduce, if I would have the Maple Heights staff, please stand. And they're all over the way. Thank you. This is our administrative team. If you take your seats, the elected officials here would please stand. We have several elected officials. Thank you. We have Bedford, who is, Bedford, you've heard them referenced here in the presentation. They're here because we support one another, and that is our vice mayor, is it Vic, how do you pronounce it? Blue Hardy, and the city manager of Bedford, Mike Malice. Do I have any other mayors or city officials here? Oh, Mayor Fletcher Berger from Bedford Heights. He gives me lessons. Thank you so much. It means so much that you're here this evening. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. You're going to see a presentation, and Dr. Keenan, who is my colleague and been a friend for a very long time also, all of my children went to Maple Heights schools, and now I have, what, 4 grandchildren? Is it 4 grandchildren? 4 grandchildren going to Maple Heights schools. So we are continuing the legacy, and we've created a great friendship, and you've seen the success of the school system. But I do want to tell you that we do this because we want to, I can't sell a city if the schools fail, and he did share that. I'm not going to shout out a lot of people. I know Dr. Keenan did, because I'm going to forget someone. And so the slides that you see is a labor of love. Everyone that you saw stand up had the charge of creating a slide to tell their story. This is a look back from last year. I will tell you that Margie Arturo, we have a communications coordinator. We've got to figure out how to do this newsletter thing. We've been working on that. Did put our slides together. So Margie is in the back. She took all the slides that everyone put together and put together this presentation. And how do I click through this? Somebody tell me how to click through this. Joe, you're going to teach me how to do that? Thank you. Oh, there it is. Charlie's walking around with it. So, which way do I go? This is what they do all day as they walk me through it. I'd like to introduce you our elected officials. Some are here tonight. They're on the screen there. We have 7 districts, a city of about 25,000. I will tell you this last census that we had, this is the highest growth we've had probably in 10 years, where we're losing population. And so we have 7 council persons, and they represent almost 3,000 people in those 7 districts. So they're very, very busy. These are the city departments I'm going to present to you this evening. Our engineering department, Chagrin Valley Engineering, our partners are here. If you would just stand in Chagrin Valley Engineering. Thank you. These are our partners. And for those people asking me questions about streets, Chagrin Valley Engineering walks me through what streets get fixed based on their analysis. But I can tell you, I'm happy to share with you, over $6 million in outside funding, and this is funding that did not come from our budget, sorry, let's go back to that, was funded, committed towards 2023 projects. You see the sewer repairs, water main replacements, asphalt pavement repair program, and Dunham Road construction. If anybody has seen Dunham Road, was a huge reconstruction. Over $6 million did not come out of our budget, but that's what was committed to do this infrastructure, the reconstruction, as well as do infrastructure repairs in our city. The city is 100 years old. We were incorporated in 1915, celebrated centennial in 2015, so everything is old, and we are systematically and very strategically, with the help of our partnership in Valley, QCI inspections, I'm not sure if they're here, helping us identify what we need to fix to bring our city up to speed and make sure that clean, safe drinking water, don't have basement overflows, and we have a city that's a smart city. It's a city that many people want to live and do business here. We want to give our stakeholders, our business and our residents, a return on their value. Still here, we've got about almost $2.2 million in just sewer maintenance alone. Still with our engineering department, as you can see, we're doing over $5 million outside funding, and this is to address reduced local sewer flooding. We see that all over the city, especially with the significant changes in weather. And these are the backups, and this is all due to structurally deficient sewers. A lot of work in infrastructure. Now, we've heard a lot about streets, and as I am out in the grocery store, people first they said, when is my street going to be fixed? We completed over $4 million worth of roadway repair work just in 2022 and 23 with road resurfacing and infrastructure projects. We try to marry these projects with sewer and water main projects. And what I mean by that, if Chagrin Engineering finds out, because they apply for grants, and we have about a 95% success rate, almost everything we apply for, we get. We're awarded. And so as they're putting this road repair and infrastructure repair schedule together, if it comes to their attention that we won a grant from the sewer district, that street is delayed because what we will not do, and it doesn't make good sense, is to put a new street down only for the sewer department or the water department to come through and tear it up. So if they tear it up, they have to fix it. So some of that is delayed based on infrastructure repairs that are being done by outside agencies. As you saw, there were $6 million committed to some of those projects. This is a really good, interesting, again, still talking about streets, because it's such a hot topic in this city. We had 10 years of no street repair, and for the last 5 years, we really tried to address the condition of our streets, which are pretty bad, and I'm aware of that. I keep flipping through these. So, in 2018, this was our score. We had about almost over 36% of our pavement condition report. This is the report from the engineering department. And then only about 16% were good. You go over to 2024, based on what it's in the works, and some construction will begin next week here for the 2023. We have almost 40% good and less than 20% poor. So we're making progress in fixing our streets. I'm extremely excited about this. Was at the governor's mansion, and First Lady DeWine has an affinity for literacy, reading books. She wants our children to be literate. And you've heard Dr. Kinnan share, we're having some trouble with literacy in the K-3 grades. And so Dolly Parton, how many of you have heard of Imagination Library? Dolly Parton, that's the initiative of Dolly Parton. To further push that through our family engagement, our communities, we were challenged in the city of Maple Heights, I gotta put this thing down. We were challenged in the city of Maple Heights to put together a storybook trail. Tell the story as families are walking with their children. And so working with Deva Walker, the manager of Maple Heights Library, if you'll stand. Thank you. Chagrin Valley Engineering that wrote the grant to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, we got the grant. And just last week, our service department, just stand, put together this storybook trail of South Park. You can actually walk through the book and read it. I will tell you this, 2 days after it was put up, it was vandalized. But we put it back together. We're going to continue to build these kind of programs in our city, telling our children our story, promoting literacy, promoting family engagement right here in our city. So the service department's already put that back together. But this is all grant money. And I forget the name of the book. What's the book that we chose, you guys chose? Saturday. So please stop at Stafford Park, just walk through the trail and read the story with your children. Still engineering department, I'm really excited to share this. The NOACA, which is the Northeast Ohio Coordinating Agency, has awarded us $2.2 million to upgrade our citywide signals. That's fantastic. Why? Why is this such a significant project? Because it reduces congestion and emissions. If you're sitting at a light, these new traffic signals will sense whether a car is coming like midnight, while you're out at midnight, or 2 o'clock in the morning, you sit there, like, why isn't it changing? This, again, here we go. This technology and these traffic signals will be able to detect whether a car is coming and move it along. So traffic will begin to move along, be less congestion. Nothing's coming out of the city budget. We won the grant in its entirety, $2.2 million. This project begins in 2024, and every traffic signal in this city will be replaced with the smart technology. I am super excited to share this slide. Our finance department. For those of you who know that this city went into fiscal emergency, bankruptcy in 2015. $3 million in the general fund. And we were under the state auditor's control to manage our finances. I'm here to tell you 8 years later, we went from almost $3 million. And that was as of August. We're creeping towards 10 million. Our goal was to get to, I said, finance, I want 10 million in the general fund. We're almost there. We're almost there. And again, and then she came to me, and Finance Director, if you'll stand, Tanita Tillman. Thank you. She says, everything is paper and slow. I need something web-based. We can do payroll, we can have updated accounting system, we can approve requisitions. When I got here, we were writing out POs. Who writes out POs in 2020 here in Maple Heights? That's how antiquated and how far we're behind on technology, processes, and procedures. And so for about a year, all she did was look for the best system. We implemented this system maybe 6 months ago. We can do payroll, people can print their pay advice, we have great reports, no more handwritten, and then I bring them to my office in a big tub, and I sit there and sign hundreds of POs. No more. Thank you, Tanita Tillman. I said, I want transparency. People said, what's happening with the money? I said, Mrs. Tillman, I want transparency. Let's tell people what's happening with the money. Let's show our money. And so she is updating on our city's website where our money goes. So there's no question about where the money goes. What's the revenue and the expenses? It's on our website. We also upload to the treasurer's, from the monthly reports from the Treasurer of State's office, the Ohio checkbook. So you've heard about some of the discussion happening about participatory budgeting in Cleveland. People want to know where the money goes, what are the details, how are we spending it. Local spending is detailed down to a single transaction on this checkbook on our website. Excellent news. Moody's is a bond rating company. It's important to have a good rate to be able to borrow money at a good rate. Not an inflated rate, not at a high rate. For the last 5 years, every year, our bond rating has increased. Let me tell you something special about this year. In 6 months, it increased twice. In 6 months. This year we got 2 bonds. That's how well we were doing. 3 levels in 2023. Let's think of that. So it means that we're stable, steady recovery, and it's driven primarily by positive operations, and that our city reserves are at healthy levels. I think almost $10 million is a very healthy level when you were down almost $3 million. We can borrow money. We can finance projects. We try not to do that because Sherman Valley goes for the grant first. Stable outlook, strong record of operating performance, and we have surpassed 50%. Our reserves have surpassed our annual revenue. That's how significant the success has been in the finance department. It gets better though. It gets better. We have received the Auditor of State Clean Audit Award, not 1 year, 2 years. We received the Clean Audit Award in 2021, and then we got it in 2022. And we're one of only a few municipalities in the entire state to get this. This is a very high award. So kudos to our finance department for all they do for innovation, for transparency, for maintaining our healthy reserves, for reducing our expenses, increasing our revenue, tracking it all, giving staff raises, buying equipment. It's been phenomenal. And no more POs. Boxes and boxes of POs to sign. I keep doing that. Fire department. Our Maples Fire Department are part of the Maples Finest. You know, when people refer to our safety forces and they say Maples Finest, it's supposed to be kind of a joke, but they're telling the truth. They are the finest among our safety forces. And as you can see here on their slide, they're serving the community with professionalism, integrity, courage, respect, dedication, and pride. These are our firefighters. They're phenomenal. We had a year of change. After 33 years, former Chief Vito Cavalunas retired. He served us from 1990 to 2023. I love this picture. This is passing the baton. I'd like to present to you, Maple Heights, your new fire chief. Please stand. Chief Daniel Sipin. With this transition, we've got, I don't know, you've changed the titles. Tell me what they are, please. Speak into the microphone. Because he changed the org chart. I used to know it was a chief, a captain and a chief, but he changed the org chart.
So we have a lieutenant, we have an administrative captain now, we also have an operations captain as well, just to kind of break up the order.
That's what new chiefs do. We just have to keep up. These are our new guys. These are the men that are leading our fire department. Thank you, Fire Chief Sipin. Great news. We got a FEMA Safer Staffing Grant. which covers the wages and benefits for 2 firefighters over 3 years, totals over $600,000. It does not have to come out of the general fund. That's how we're getting to the $10 million, because we go after grants and we try to find others monies that we can leverage so that we can maintain our reserve, maintain our expenses while increasing revenue. And Chief Sipin led up that grant with a very talented grant writer. Community engagement, they need to be out so you can see them, so our children can aspire, one of the reasons we do this together, to be firefighters, to go into professional services. And so every chance they get, that's us. We went out and we installed smoke detectors. They're actually at the schools, the back to school rally. And so we do, and that's music in the park. Human resources. We had a human resources department I started almost 8 years ago, but that lasted about a year. It took us years to find a human resource professional. And so we truly have a human resources department. Leticia Linker, thank you so much. We appreciate your years of service. Since Leticia's been here, we are recruiting, we're using, and it's very difficult right now to find tech. Very difficult right now. I almost need somebody. Joe. I can't do it. I'll talk, you click. Because I keep going through these too fast. But we have an amazing staff. You saw what our finance department has done. You've seen what our service department has done. All those infrastructure dollars, someone has to implement those changes. You've seen, you'll see as we continue what all the departments are doing, because all of them contribute to this presentation. Leticia needs to make sure that we find those quality individuals to fill those key positions, while competing with other cities. My colleagues, Bedford Heights. Bedford gets them, Bedford Heights, we're all competing from the same talent pool. So Leticia has to be strategic as we advertise our positions. Healthcare costs were going up double digits. We're getting 18% renewals. This is based on the health claims history. So we changed drastically. We had been the same broker forever. It wasn't working for me. It wasn't working for me. And when they gave me the last renewal, which was eye-popping, they said, unless you can get me a rate that I can then pass on to our employees, maintain costs while they have the very best of coverage, we can't work together. It took some time, but we found a really good plan. I challenged my law director Frank Consolo, because Leticia wasn't quite here yet, and was hopefully coming over, to help me find someone. And I was told about a healthcare consortium. But here's the thing, they said that Maple Heights couldn't get in it. You don't tell me that Maple Heights can't get in it. Tell me why we can't get in it. They couldn't give me a good answer. So I found someone that says that Maple Heights was welcome. And we just got our new renewal. It is 5.8. No more double-digit increases. On top of maintaining the cost to our employees of health care, our employees now enjoy a health savings account. And how much do we contribute, our finance director? $2,200 per family. Now you can use your health savings card to pay your copay, you get your NyQuil. On top of maintaining costs, we give our employees, which is an incentive for recruitment and retention, money back. And we have a great HR process. Screening, working very close with the police department, making sure we get the best from candidates, walking through the orientation, so that we can have a better success with recruitment and retention. That's much better, isn't it? Our Human Services Director, Linda Vopat, who's been here 34 years. Linda Vopat. 34 years. And I am the number 6th mayor. I'm the 6th mayor she served. You don't move Linda Vopat, you just keep her right here. She runs our Choice Food Pantry. We have a new coordinator, and you can see those, you can go back a little bit. See some of the pictures that we have here. We've served over 7,000 families. This is an increase of almost over 4,500 from 2021, and this is a 22 presentation. almost 300,000 pounds of food. This is an increase of almost 173,000 pounds of food from 2021. Total meals, over 200,000 people that we're helping for our food pantry. Amen. We have a mobile food pantry with fresh fruits and vegetables. You drive up and you get the vegetables. Over 3,000 families, almost 85,000 pounds of fresh produce was distributed last year to our families. Senior service, still talking about Linda Bopak. Still talking about Linda Bopak.
I like it.
She runs, in addition to the food pantry and coordinating the mobile food pantry, we have a brick and mortar senior center on Libby Road. And she manages that. Out of the senior center, we have delivered 19,000 home delivered meals. Conduit, meaning that those coming, these are ambulatory seniors coming to the seniors. Almost 8,000 meals at the senior center. Over 550 seniors and disabled. These are all the things that we do as well as the social services that we do. And then they have fun. They line dance, they make wreaths, and they do all kinds of crafts. And we have a lot of holiday events. So they're very busy and very engaged, our senior center. Still talking about Linda, still talking about Linda. We got a new senior van. This is the third senior van we've got in 4 years. When I got here, the vans were over 100,000 miles and on their last leg. We applied, first year didn't get it. We've continued to apply, and now I was happy to present the check and take delivery of our third new van to transport our seniors and disabled citizens in the city. Still talking about Linda. Senior Center is very, very old. And when I walked in, there had been no upgrade since 1985, and it looked like it. And I said, this has got to change. Carpet was old, and I won't go on. You can imagine what something looks like, but hasn't been updated since 1985. And so we began to renovate. But we had help. We had, going back, we had a new plumbing and water cooling unit that was donated, in loving memory of a senior that passed, who was a beloved senior, that is sharing her family, donated a new system. Phyllis Lianza, which is one of our oldest residents, she would have been 101 had she lived. Her family donated. She just loved to exercise. She was 101. And she would go upstairs and get on the treadmill and exercise. Her family donated new exercise equipment, so the seniors, her friends, could continue to enjoy that physical activity. And then we updated just the public access areas. Again, first upgrade since 1985. Still talking about Linda. She helps me put music in the park. We've had the most successful music park in the series that we've ever had. We had forecasts and probably had over 300 people. You bring your chair, you bring your picnic set up, you bring your water bottle, and I don't want to know what's in the other bottles. And we jam and I dance. Rob Johnson, Lion Dance King, does intermission. We've had so much fun. We could not, that thing is tricky, right? Oh, is it a timer? Okay. That's the problem. It's not me, it's the timer. You have me thinking I could click a clicker. So, Kids Splash Pad, we've been wanting to open the pool. I'm so glad that this has come to fruition, that this wellness center is going to happen with the schools. We've been trying to open the pools forever. Linda and I spent an evening figuring out who we could get to get somebody to give us naming rights. Could it be the Liberty Ford pool? Could it be, Walmart's pool, naming rights to get our pool open because it's so expensive. Everybody said no because it's so expensive to maintain. If I want to be like Fletcher Berger, Mayor Bergen, and have a pool, but I just couldn't make it happen. Our local officials helped us with some capital fund dollars, and we were able to get the splash pool open, which I said I cannot charge people for that. It's been free for the last 2 years. It was part of $1 million aquatic center probably back in 2013 or 14 under the previous administration. So we have been able to bring back the splash pad, which kids do love, daycares especially. Easter Fest, Citywide garage sale, we brought holiday lighting back. We have applied, we've competed for the First Energies lighting ceremony. This year we're gonna win. I feel like we've almost won. I think this year we're gonna win. In addition to the Imagination Library, we put in a fitness trail at Stafford Park. Law Department, I just referenced our Law Director, Attorney Frank Consolo. These are all the things they do. They take care, they handle the law. I don't do anything with law, I just call Frank. We got a situation. He works closely with counsel to prepare resolutions and all the information for our legislative body. We have 2 assistant prosecutors who help us represent the city in traffic and criminal matters in our Garfield Heights Municipal Court. Assistant Prosecutor John Thomas, Assistant Prosecutor Marlene Breitnauer. And Frank also brought in-house, and this is huge, collective bargaining. When I got here, we were outsourcing collective bargaining, which was a whole lot of money. As I'm trying to balance the budget and cut the expenses so we can get out of fiscal emergency, I met Attorney Frank Consolo, who says, I will do it all. And so we now have brought that back in-house. In addition to all that you saw he did on the previous slide, he also negotiates collective bargaining agreements. And we think we have 9 unions, is it 9?
6 and 7 bargaining.
6 and all of those. I am so excited. I think I saw him. There he is in the back. We have a juvenile diversion program. And this is a program that we have a relationship with the Cuyahoga County Juvenile Division. They give us so much money to take care of our children who are low offenders, first-time offenders. And so we were looking, we had an attorney, but he may partner. So we were looking, it is timer, guys, so it's not us. We were looking for someone local. And there was a situation happening in District 2, Councilman Tony Jones's district, at a park. And this gentleman stepped up and said, I knew that he was with Job Corps. And I saw him want to get in and fix it. It's great when the residents not only tell you there's a problem, they say, I'll help you fix it. Stephen Furlow, man, will you stand? This is our new juvenile diversion coordinator. We're looking for great things. He is going to reach out to the schools and those partners, as well as the juvenile diversions and anyone else that wants to help to make sure our children don't get in the system. That's our goal. So welcome, Stephen. Building and housing. Joe, who's helping with the clicker, is Planning and Development Director. As a director level, he also has the building and housing. And what Joe employs, stand up. These are our code inspectors, our housing inspectors, our housing administrators. People want to fix their homes. One of the things our code enforcement officers, they go out and site. They said, we don't want to just site because people usually don't have the money to fix the roof or the failing steps. I said, no, we need to get money to help them. So we applied, this is our 2nd year. We've been successful in getting home repair grants from the county. The grants are about $2,500. And as you can see, most people are using that money to do sidewalks, walks, patios, and aprons. This is the stuff that they just can't pull the money together. $500 for senior health, and we put together $100,000 to help with these 43 home repair grants. Our new code enforcement officers, the rules keep changing about what we can do, where we can go, our limit. Can we go in the home and inspect? Can we go in the backyard? And so we've had our code enforcement officers go through training. We processed almost 4,000 permits, which reflected over $15 million in construction and new home improvements in the city. That's what that generated. Thank you so much. Fantastic. Homes are looking great in Maple Heights. Trying a home sale, so I'll get to this verbiage just a little bit. So in the state of Ohio, the Ohio Department of Taxation has a 6-year reappraisal. 6-year reappraisal, they look at all 88 counties and they value, using sales data, how values are growing. Are they appreciating or are they depreciating? One of the ways that the city got into fiscal emergency many years ago was in 2012, home values in Maple Heights dropped over 30%. How many people remember that? And many of us were underwater. We owed more than our home was worth. So we've been trying to get this comeback. every 3 years, which is called a triennial. So 6 years, the full 6-year review, and triennial is the mid-year. And so how is that trending? And so how that's trending for the city of Maple Heights, so 21% increase in 1 year, and that's 21-22, 53% increase over a 2-year span, almost 75,000 in 10-year values that we've gotten back with these reappraisals. But this is the news. This is where we clap. We sold over 600 single-family homes, over 600 in Maple Heights. And I see some developers in the room. Thank you for those developers who are coming and choosing Maple Heights to build. They're in this number, but it's going to grow because they're building new homes. Thank you for being here, those wonderful developers. More information about our housing market. When I started in 2016, the median home value was $37,000. $37,000. It is now $125,000. And that's just as recent as July 2023. That's up almost over 20% from just last year in home value appreciation. Median list price of a realtor selling, you're going to put it on about between $125 and $128. And this comes all the time. We have all this Section 8 housing. Maple Heights is a rental community. Maple Heights is not a rental community, and we have very little Section 8. We're about 60% owner occupied, 40% is rental housing, but you saw the homes that sold. That's going to change next year as we become more of a home owner occupied home. I just saw the president of South Point Hospital, Dr. Margaret McKenzie. Would you just stand? I have to give you homage. Dr. Margaret McKenzie, the president of Cleveland Clinic South Point Hospital. Thank you so much for being here. We're doing some great work, Blue Zones, where we look at health disparities and how that affects these numbers, economic viability, and as well as some other issues we have in Black infant mortality. We're going to be working very closely to identify how those affect this success story, how it affects our children and the way they learn and the way they progress. New businesses, we got a lot to celebrate. A lot to celebrate. We have just joined the Chamber of Commerce, which myself and Mayor Berger, our city manager, Mike Mellis, we were all part of this Chamber of Commerce, Garfield Heights, and it went away. And so we've been looking, where do we go for business support to grow our business, to share best practices for economic development initiatives. And I charged Joe when he joined. You've been with me 2 years now, right? Almost 2 years. I still from Stock Village and some other places. It's been fantastic. And Euclid most recently, but he fits really well here right now. I said, find a place for us to land for business support. And he did that. And we are now, and you'll see the retractable banner in the back, we're now a part of the Maple Heights Chamber of Commerce. We're a chapter of Cuyahoga East, which is many cities. He can explain that later, because I can't. But we welcome several new businesses. Chipotle will be opening very soon on Washington Road on the Strip, where all that chicken is. We're breaking up the chicken. Breaking it down, get a real low. And some chips, breaking up the chicken. Journey Barber School, we cut the ribbon to that. Young minority entrepreneur wanted to start a school to teach young people how to cut hair. So, and we've got All Pro Freight Systems, which is a national company. I think they're out of Westlake. They're headquartered in Westlake. They just opened a new division here on Lee South in our industrial park, and they're already out of space. They're saying, can you find more space? We've already outgrown that. And Legends Recovery Center of Ohio used to be the Remington College. This is, they're treating people. It looks like a hotel. It's so beautiful. It looks, and Legends is right there. Please stand. Thank you. That is one beautiful facility. I think you hired a professional interior designer. It looks like a hotel. What a great place to recover at Legends Recovery. So it's absolutely beautiful. Thank you for being here this evening. Land Bank. Joe and I earlier, we ran here. We were at the Land Bank, some new housing over in Warrensville Heights. Beautiful. You saw a little bit, maybe you saw the interview with East Cleveland, what they're doing in East Cleveland. They're taking these vacant lots, doing infill housing and building homes that are absolutely beautiful, that would fit in any neighborhood. Not just here, but any neighborhood at all. They're just that beautiful. We also have a relationship to Land Bank, and we have sold city-owned land for 11 homes. They're either under construction or we're discussing how we're going to move forward, and these are some of the homes that are being built. This one's on Thomas, and our developer, Mr. Burton, is right back. You just raise your hand. He's building the one on Thomas, right across from our council president, working with several realty companies and development companies. We also have another huge development, which can't disclose the deals because the ink isn't dry. But we're looking, how many units are they proposing? About 70 brand new units. And as soon as we can work through those details, we'll share that. Beautiful brand new homes. 70, in addition to what you've seen already, and the 11 that are already in construction or at some point, at some particular stage. We had our third public meeting last night at the library for this beautiful senior apartment, $14 million for 3 units. And we have, Jennings will manage it, Jennings will stand. Thank you. They laugh because I tell the same story all the time. Linda Vopat, who takes me places, Linda Vopat is a big part of my life. We were somewhere, I forget where she took me, somewhere downtown. I think it was some Huntington Convention Center or someplace. And we were there for one of you all's fundraisers. And you were building something like this in Brecksville, and I sharp, and I'm like, well, why can't Maple Heights get one? We got it. Thank you, Jennings. You heard me. You heard me. It's supposed to open end of the year, but already they've had so many applications. They're going to have a waiting list for about 2 years. And that's on Thomas. In addition to the 11 homes we talked about, 70 homes that we're looking at with the new developer, we've got this. This is what's happening in Maple Heights in real estate. Community development. I pointed out Dr. McKenzie because in Maple Heights, all this good news, we have a crisis. Black infant mortality, Black maternal mortality. Black babies die at almost 3 times the rate of white babies. Same economic status. Black mothers die at a high rate. We can have all the success. We have a crisis. And Dr. McKenzie and I and all of the mayors here, we all meet monthly on a call to see how are we going to fix it? How are we going to address so they can get to Maple Heights City Schools? How are we going to do? How are we going to save them? A first-year birthday is huge because they make it past the first year, they're viable. But they're not making it past the first year. And so Paquita Hansberry, we need a community development manager because Joe is so busy putting together all those deals. Paquita Hansberry, I'm not sure where she is, if she would just stand. Paquita, she's at the table. Lives in Maple Heights, has done economic development. I said, I need somebody to help me with the community development initiative, the health initiative, because you see what Linda's doing. Linda's like, I'll just say, Linda, you can't do anything else. Paquita, come help me. She's a Maple Heights resident. Thank you, Paquita. Toxic is a film that I saw maybe 4 years ago that broke my heart. It is the journey of a Black mother that loses her baby. She's telling the doctor, oh, something's wrong. Because it's her second pregnancy, she's dismissed. There's bias in our healthcare systems. This movie, You Will Leave, changed forever. And I knew when I saw this movie at the Art Museum like 4 or 5 years ago. And when I was in the office 3 weeks, he said, you have a problem. I said, besides the fiscal emergency, what other problem do I have? You don't have enough staff, you don't have enough money, and your Black babies are dying. I'm like, oh my gosh, one more thing? And then I had to get to the bottom of the problem. And so I've been working to figure what that out. But we showed this movie and we're in partnership with Pregnant with Possibilities that's moved to Maple Heights. The county has an initiative, and I go on and on. But we are addressing how are we going to save our babies. If you want to know more, if you want to get involved, please see Paquita Hansberry, our community development manager. Additionally, I said, let's sell more houses, more houses. She said, okay, Mayor. She coordinated recently a housing fair, and Tony Jones from District 2 is the chair of our Housing Economic Subcommittee. Those two put their heads together. She's director of Baylor Puritas, and they make magic happen in the real estate world, in addition to what the market just forces. And then I went to a First Subs Consortium meeting where Mayor Stan Kochi, who's not here, the mayor of Bedford, is the president of First Suburbs, and these are the mayors of all the first suburbs. And I heard that Cleveland Heights was changing out gas mower lawns to something more efficient, electric lawnmowers. I said, Paquita, can you do that? And we gave 5 mowers out as people turned in the gas ones. And that's a program we'll continue to do, and that's a partnership with Home Depot as we look to bring more clean, energy, efficient initiatives to our city. There is a formation of the Maple Citizens Committee, and they formed to help us with initiatives. Linda Sakura, she's a resident. Is Linda here? I thought I saw her. Linda's right here. She's going to help us identify more initiatives where we can have cleaner air. So thank you, Linda, she's a volunteer. Police Department, Chief Todd Hansen's here. Thank you for being here, Chief. I'm big on our police and our fire safety. You've seen them besides when you fall and you can't get up, or oh my gosh, I need a police officer. I want you to meet them where you are, in a safe environment, an engaging environment, in a community involvement. These are all the things they do. Whatever we do, Chief Hansen and his guys are there with us. Music in the parks, they're there dancing and wiggling with me and bobbing to the music. And Shop with a Cop, that's something they do with kids who have been identified by usually somebody from the schools saying, this kid won't have Christmas unless they shop with a cop. And they raise donations and take these kids. And I went with them once, Target. It is so cute to see a big policeman getting a Barbie doll off the top shelf as they shop with these children. And these are all the things that they do. Go back just one. Mocktail is really safe driving. Mothers Against Drunk Driving. We won last year. What was the name of the drink?
I don't even remember. It was crowd favorite, though. I don't remember.
We won. So you do this mocktail, and we were at the IX Center, but Maple Heights won. We've been trying to win for a while. Usually it's Euclid or someone, but we won. Really fun event. In addition to that, we do police work. We've seized money in drug busts, not something we're proud of, but we want to get drugs and guns off the streets. We've had the AAA Traffic Safety Award. We always win, silver or gold. Next one is, we've had some new hires. It is a challenge because, again, we're competing with all of our community partners because they're looking for new officers as well. But we've had some new officers, very, very happy. We've had some promotions as well. This is the makeup. We don't have a lot. So if you know someone that's interested in law enforcement, we are hiring. We need to get this number up. There are 25,000 people, almost 10,000 housing units with more to come in. We're going to end up with probably 15,000 housing units with 28 policemen, 29. We need more help. So when you say you don't see the police, they're averaging 95 to 100 calls a day. I know that because I get the report every single morning. It's because we don't have enough to cover the volume that keeps increasing. Got this new facility opening, so please, we're looking for people to join our police department. This is our service department. I thought this was a really cool picture. These guys are amazing. They trim your trees, they fix your potholes, they'll shovel your snow, and they'll pick up your leaves. There's one girl, and that's our office manager, April Yulee. This is what they've done. We tried to update, to coincide with the fitness trail, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library that we got the grant from, to fix up our park. You take what we have. And so we're going to be looking for more money in capital budgeting to redo our parks and playground equipment. But we've maintained what we have. We did something at the senior center. I'm trying to touch as much as we can. Old city, not a lot of money, but let's fix what we have and make it very pleasing. Our pavilions are rented every single weekend. Family reunions. There was even a wedding there. People find it very, very popular. And I told you a little bit of what the guys do. They're out there working. We had some catalytic converters stolen. We had an open garage. We've had to put an electronic system to try to maintain our equipment because they're off-site. And leaf pickup is coming very soon. Thank you so much. I have two special presentations, and Joe, stick with me. At this address, I'd like to make two very special awards. I'd first like to do the Business of the Year. Economic development is a passion of mine. And for the longest, before I got Joe or the one before, we didn't have an economic development director. We couldn't afford it. And so I did a lot of that myself. And it's something that I really, really am passionate about. And I know the difference they make in helping me achieve the goals that I was able to share with you tonight. I would like to present tonight and introduce you to our Business of the Year. And I won't call them out right now, but Farmer Jones closed. They were Business of the Year. And a year after I named Farmer Jones Business of the Year, they closed. We're going to have a place that was vacant that had been a staple in the city for a long time. People went for their fresh fruits and vegetables. I said, that can't happen. And I got on the phone and I started looking for someone that would take over Farmer Jones. And I came across an article about a group of brothers called Riddall. They had done something down in Kinsman, and they were called the Soil Brothers, and it was amazing. And I called, and I said, this is Mayor Blackwell. You don't know me, but I think I have an opportunity for you. And I talked to someone and said, you might want to buy a farmer's market. And so the person bought the farmer's market. I found somebody I thought could take it. I said, no, this is too much. Let's keep the story brief. Riddall ended up saying yes. They're the owners and the operators of Farmer Jones, and they are the 2023 Business of the Year recipients. I'm not going to read the proclamation. We've gone along with this presentation. You can read it. It just tells your story, which many of you know. Thank you. But on behalf of the City of Maple Heights, I'd like to present you with this award for being the 2023 Business of the Year. Riddall, your greens are the bomb. Your bananas are fantastic. Your apples are juicy. Your watermelon is beautiful.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank the community for all your support. We started as operators, now we're owners. That's a good thing. So we want to thank our mayor, Mayor Blackwell, Mr. George Simon, the whole team, the whole legal governmental structure of Maple Heights. You've been so supportive. Our main man, Richard, at Castle School. We're working with Castle School now. And just so many great things happening in Maple Heights. We're glad to be a part of it. But we couldn't do none of it without you as a customer base that come. I recognize many of your faces. You come and you buy the seeded watermelons, and you know we're doing so great with those this year. It's been phenomenal. But we really have a great team. My beautiful wife here, she runs me like a racehorse. But we have a dynamite team, and what we believe is what the mayor said, that a smile is free. You know, thank you. We appreciate your business. That's free. We wanted to keep a tradition in Maple Heights. When we took over, the farmers market was 60 years old, and we want to take it for another 60. Thank you.
Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for saying yes. This was emotional. 2023 Citizen of the Year. There's a young lady here that I got to know when my kids went to school. She was on the school board here. Been on the school board for a really, really long time. I knew her because of her service on the school board. And then we became friends. There was a discussion about who would be the next mayor, as the mayor before me was not seeking another term. And so we had a conversation, it was going to be me or her. She said, you do it. And we created a relationship. And then she was going to retire, and she said, anybody in mind? I'm thinking about Mr. Blackwell. And she called my house, and her and Mr. Blackwell talked, and he said, I've been doing Big Brother, Big Sister for a long time. I do believe in dreams and make dreams come. Not thought about school board, and they did what they did, and my husband ran for school board, and because of this lady, her selflessness. And then tragedy happened. She called me maybe 5 o'clock on a Saturday morning, or I forget what it was. But all I could hear in my ear were screams and sobs. And my daughter's boyfriend is her son's childhood best friend. And she said, get Enrique. Cameron is in an accident. And I began to frantically call Enrique. She lost her son. A car came through and took his life. And this whole city just stopped breathing. He was an aspiring musician. He was a football player. He was a friend to everyone, quiet, just sweet, wonderful person. Her and her boys and her daughter have served this community in the most exemplary and selfless way for many, many years. And we all had to get to go to a funeral to be there with her. And there were tears and heartbreak and so much sadness. I'm a mother of 3, 2 boys and a girl. I can't imagine. And as we sat there crying and trying to make sense of it, she gets up, she goes to the pulpit, fully dressed, makeup together, intact, and preached her son's funeral, basically. She began to heal us. She began to help us dry up our tears. And she reassured us that she would be fine because she knew where her son was going. We were supposed to be nurturing her, but she dried her tears to try to fix us. I decided that day, that is a citizen of the year. That's somebody I want to be like. I want to be strong like her. I want to be stylish like her. I want to be beautiful. I want to be selfless like her. And for that reason, Pamela Poindexter Cruz is the 2023 Citizen of the Year because of her healing spirit. How amazing she is.
Thank you, guys. I just want to say, I want to thank Annette for recognizing me for this award, and then also thank you, the City of Maple Heights. You helped me go through this tragedy. You helped me see what love looks like, and you helped our family go through our healing process. The calls, the prayers. It's not easy to lose a child, just out of the blue. Your life is gone because you had so many dreams and aspirations for them. But we know God does not do anything out of order or not for a purpose. I know my purpose, and my purpose is to embrace other mothers who have gone through tragedies as I will stand strong in this. I miss Cameron. My 16 years on the school board taught me something. To be loving, to be caring, and know that we are all family at all times. And I just thank you all for that.
We love you, Pam.
Thank you. Love you too.
I know it was long. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I see so many faces. It means a lot that you're here tonight. This will be on our website. I believe YouTube is streaming it. You can pull it from YouTube. If there's anything here shared tonight that you'd like clarification, if you've seen the staff members are going to be around a little bit, go ahead and engage them. For our partners, the new businesses, the investors, the new relationships we're going to form as we go to City Board. Thank you. We've got a lot of work to do. A lot's been done already. Exciting, exciting times. God bless. Thank you.